I'm going to modify a Sapphire Nitro RX470 4GB card so it can get 29 plus megahash per second. Before I start, I want to make sure that my 470's BIOS switch is switched to the gaming or overclock setting so that I can take that BIOS and modify that BIOS. I'm going to want to make sure that the BIOS switch is switched towards the side that says VBIOS switch. Later, after I take this BIOS and modify it, I'm going to switch it to the silent BIOS setting and flash over that after again backing up that BIOS. So make sure you've got your switch switched to the VBIOS switch side for the overclock gaming BIOS. Got my card plugged back into the board. You can have it on a riser. There's no other cards plugged into the board right now. So I'm going to start up my system and get started. You're going to need a few things installed or downloaded before you start. You're going to want the AMD drivers 16.9.1 or 16.9.2. Make sure that you have this installed before you flash your BIOS, else you might get a black screen and your graphics card might not work in Windows. So go to the AMD website and download that. Next, you're going to want Sapphire Trixx downloaded and installed. So go to Sapphire Tech and download Sapphire Trixx. Next, you're going to need Atiwinflash downloaded onto your computer. You want the new version available, 2.74, so click on that link. And then when you get to the 2.74 page, click on Download Now. Select the server you want to download from and download that. Last, you're going to want Polaris Bios Editor downloaded from GitHub. Click on Clone or Download, Download Zip, and download Polaris Bios Editor. Here we can see that my 470 shows up. It's hashing away at about 22 megahash per second. So I'll close my miner, open up Atiwinflash. I'll right click on Atiwinflash and select Run as Administrator. Once that's open, I'm going to want to click on Save to save my BIOS and back it up in order to modify it. So I'll click on Save. I'll find a directory that I want to back it up to. And then I'm going to choose a name, again, that I'm going to remember. I will remember that this is the gaming overclock BIOS. Remember to type in the .rom at the end so it saves as a ROM. And then click Save. Once it's backed up, it'll tell you the ROM image was saved to file. So you can click Continue and close Atiwinflash. Now I'm going to switch the switch back to the silent mode because this is the mode that I'm going to want to flash over. So make sure that the switch is on the side where the HDMI and DisplayPort outputs are. Again, open Atiwinflash, run as administrator, and click on Save to back up the silent mode BIOS. Again, find your directory, and again choose a name that you're going to remember. You're going to remember that this is the silent mode BIOS, not the gaming overclocked BIOS. Save that. Once it's saved, it'll tell you it's saved. Click Continue. Close Atiwinflash. Then we're going to open up Polaris Bios Editor. We're going to open the overclocked gaming BIOS that we backed up. And we're going to change a few timings here. So first we're going to copy the 1500 timing. And we're going to paste that into the 2000 and 1750. Then we're going to copy the 1425 timing and copy that into the 1625 strap. Then we're going to copy the 1375 timing and copy that into the 1425 and 1500 straps. That's all done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to increase the TDP from 85 to 100. Once that's done, we're done. This is all we're going to edit, so we can save it. Click on Save. Again, choose a name that you're going to remember that this is the modified BIOS. And then click Save. Close Polaris Bios Editor. We'll go back, open Atiwinflash, right click, click Run as Administrator. We're going to load our modded BIOS. So open that file. And then we can click on Program to flash our card. You can also use the command prompt. Either way should be okay. Some people do have a problem with the GUI, this graphical user interface Atiwinflash, so it is probably recommended to use the command line, but I've not had any problems using it. So it's done. Click Yes to reboot the system. Back into Windows, we can see it's hashing away at 25 plus megahash per second. We can increase this speed. We can go to Radeon settings to do this, or you can do it in Sapphire Trixx. But we'll use Radeon settings. And this is going to depend upon how good your card is for overclocking the memory. But I'm going to stick my memory all the way up to 2050. Now I've increased the memory frequency to 2070. Here we can see that the 470 is taking about 130 plus watts. So we want to decrease that a little bit. 130 is much. We can see that an unmodded 470 uses about 110. And our modded 480 is using just over 70 watts. So to fix our modded 470, we're going to decrease the GPU voltage. I'm going to decrease this one by about 100 millivolts MV. You might not be able to get 100, maybe just 80, negative 80, or negative. You could get up to a negative 120. This one does fine at negative 120 also. We can see that the wattage has decreased to less than 110 watts after the GPU voltage drop. So drop this down more, we can decrease the GPU clock. Drop it down to 1050, 1050. Hit apply. And we can see now the wattage has dropped down to just over 70 watts again, which is very good. So that's about where we want it. Now again, you're going to have to play with the GPU voltage to see how low you can get it without it crashing, with what stable amount you can get, and you're going to have to play with the memory clock, see how high you can get it while keeping the card running stable. Different GPUs will be able to reach different voltages and different memory clocks depending on the quality of the GPU. Not all nitros are going to reach the same numbers. Right now we're getting about 27 megahash per second, which is pretty good. Here we can see the modified 480. It's getting 29 at about 70 watts with the same, pretty much the same decrease in voltage and almost at the exact same memory clock, just a little bit higher. Here we see that the original 470, unmodified 470, is at 110 watts. And we can decrease that also. If you don't want to mod your card and you just want to get your regular unmodded 470 running at a lower wattage, we can decrease that as much as we can at the GPU voltage, a decrease by 100 MV. And that brings us down to about 90 to 95 watts. We can decrease this further without much reduction in megahash by decreasing the GPU clock. And now we're getting about 60 watts on the unmodified 470. Now you're going to want to play with your GPU clock and see how low you can get it without much loss. And you're going to want to see how low you can get the voltage with it remaining stable. If you right click on the top of GPU Z and select settings, and then go to ASIC quality, this will kind of tell you how good your card will be for overclocking and undervolting. The higher ASIC quality number that you get, the better it is going to be to overclock. My ASIC quality on this card is very good, 78.9. So I'm going to be able to get a lower voltage and a higher overclock with this card. And if we check the other 470 card, we'll see that the ASIC quality is not quite as good, 65.9. So it probably won't do quite as good on voltage and probably won't be able to get the memory up as high, but it should still do okay. So I've switched my cards around. Now you can see two modded 470s beside the unmodded 470. Both are hitting over 29 megahashes per second. The second one, I couldn't get the memory clock up as high, so it's at 2045 right now. And the first one is at 2070. I can get a little bit higher. And it'll give me a bit of a higher megahash, 29.4, 29.5, sometimes 29.6, where the second one just usually does over 29. I hope that helps. I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.